Today we will begin by installing the HP IMFP software version 2.5.16 to our HP Color LaserJet CM3530. We will then configure this and connect it as a terminal to Blueprint. Before we get started, one of the most important things is that you have the latest HP firmware installed from HP's website to the device. You can check this by going to the IP address of the HP device, and there will be a configuration page, and here you will see where the firmware is listed. I'm currently running the latest firmware at this time, so let's begin our installation. I'll open up the HP installer folder. You'll see there's three folders: database, docs, install, and a readme file. The readme file will give you brief information on install notes, the new changes to the release such as easy access, print all functionality has been improved, the delete button debounced, CJK print job file name support Chinese, Japanese, or Korean will display correctly, USB devices default to keyboard emulation. The known issue is SSL with older firmware. Other documents include device and configuration guide, a quick start guide, which gives you briefly some information on installing. So what we will do is we will follow along with some of this guide and install our device and configure it to our Blueprint system. If we open up the install folder, here you'll see the HP installer. We double click this, and as you can see, this is the IP address of my HP device. Make sure that I'm using the correct admin password for my device. I'm installing this for Blueprint, so I'll check the Blueprint bullet, click the Verify Printer button. You should now get the message the device is ready for Pharos application installation. Go ahead and click the Install Pharos application button, and it will begin to install all of the 9 components for the software. Once the installation is complete, you'll be presented with the completion screen, and clicking the OK button now will tell you the installation is complete. At this point, what we need to do is we will open up a web browser to the IP address of our device, and here you will see that we now have Pharos Systems information on the left-hand side. These links will give you information about what version the software is running on each page. The Pharos Systems link on the information page gives you again general information and will show you that currently the device is not configured against our Blueprint system. Let's now go ahead and do that. First, we'll log into the device. We'll now click on the Settings tab. We will now click on the Pharos Systems tab. It will now configure this to point to our Blueprint system. My server name, password from my Blueprint EDI, and I will give this a new terminal name called HP CM3530. I am going to configure my device to use SSL always, and I will not turn on any of the logging at this time. Before I can click the Apply button, I'll need to make an insertion of a terminal device to my Blueprint Administrator. So if you open up your Blueprint Administrator and you open up the Device Management context and you click on the Terminals context, we will add a new terminal. This is going to be my HP CM3530. This name here is the same name that we use over here when we configure the web portion. Give it a description. And at this point, I'm going to choose a generic terminal type of 1.0.0. The IP address of the device is 10.1.152.1.2. The LPRQ name most commonly is called raw. It can be configured on most devices, and you can add additional LPRQ names based on the manufacturer's device. At this point, we'll click the Apply button in our Blueprint Administrator, and it says that already in use. I will now again configure the IP address of the device and the LPRQ name. I will not choose any scripts at this time, but the terminal features I will choose there. Clicking the Apply button should now add this terminal to my Blueprint system. Lastly, now that we have entered the correct terminal name, I will click the Apply button. This will contact my Blueprint server and should update my settings. It may take several moments the first time it connects, but as you can see, my terminal device has now been connected and my settings have been updated to the device itself from my Blueprint server, and it tells me that a connection has been established. If we go back to our Blueprint Administrator and we now refresh the screen, you now see that my terminal type now reflects the HP IMFP 2.5.16 version, and I now have options I can configure for my terminal. This will conclude our installation of the HP IMFP support video.